My name is Ron Gold, and in conjunction with 3 Tree Hill Lodge, we're making this series of short videos focusing initially anyway on the legends and stories of the Voortrekker people. Behind me, looking down into the valley, we are sitting on the top of the escarpment, and way down at the bottom there's a story of the Rensburg family who had a farm down there somewhere which became known as Rensburg's Kop. And on the farm there was a slight rise in the one corner of the farm ground which eventually climbed onto a little hill, but on the reverse slope the hill dropped down on a sheer cliff into a gorge some distance below. The story is that the Rensburg's son, young boy of 14 years old, and his sister of about 9 went out one day to climb up the hill and enjoy the view. And having sat there for a while, got to their feet to return home, the young boy slipped and fell over the cliff, to the horror of the little girl. Although she could see him way down below and shouted at him, there was no sound. She ran home and called her father, and the father and 1 or 2 labourers, with some ropes, some water, went back. It was starting to get dark. By the time they got there, he was conscious and clearly in a great deal of pain. And they simply couldn't reach him. They lowered the ropes down, it wasn't far enough, and it got dark. So a fire was made and mother was sent for, and she had an all-night vigil, shouting encouragement down to her son. But the following morning, other farmers were summoned, and they brought ropes and stretchers. But the problem was that the young boy had got jammed in a fissure, which was incredibly narrow, and they couldn't get to him. And they lowered down the cliff, discovered they couldn't get to him, but they threw a rope. But clearly the fall had injured him so badly that he had no feeling in his limbs, and although the rope had slapped him in the face, there's nothing he could do about it. And gradually, incredibly thirsty and in agony, he deteriorated. And as the afternoon wore on, he shouted at his father, and he said, "Father, I'm in terrible pain. Please shoot me." And the horror of it was that there was no other real alternative. His mother became hysterical, but eventually she was prevailed upon to calm down and say goodbye to her son. And as she was led away, a single shot brought this dreadful episode to an end. And the story is that the Rensburg family packed up and left the area and never returned. Once again, it's a story, I think, that epitomizes the Boer people. A story maybe, if the Brits had heard, wouldn't have been in such a tearing hurry to start a war against them. The reality is that it is probably a legend. There's no evidence of the Rensburg family in this area at that time, and certainly nobody has found a site that might be the one where the unfortunate boy plunged ultimately to his death.